Well, hello and good day, influencers around the world. Hello and good day. Listen, it's your business strategist coach, Anika Cohen here. Welcome to Behind the Screen Business Confessions. Listen, this is the show where we are intentional about supporting our leaders. We want to motivate and support you on your journey in the marketplace to propel forward with clarity and confidence. And so we are here to have the real raw conversations of what it looks like to make sacrifices, to take risks, to be bold, to show up for an assignment that is greater and bigger than yourself. And so I'm excited to support you on your journey wherever you are in the world. I want to welcome you here. Listen, take out time to go ahead and subscribe to our community. If you are new to our show, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share. Listen, this is the safe space to talk about your challenges. This is the safe space to have the conversation, to know you're not alone, and that this vision is going to be challenging, but it is possible. It is possible. And so we are here for another great episode. And I have an amazing guest that is here with us on today. Yes, we have another amazing guest here that is here to share her story and her message and her strategy. She is one of our honorees at the Influencers on the Rise Brunch and Gala. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Miss Ellen Seaton.
Hello, hello. Hi.
Hello. So good to have you on Behind the Screen Business Confessions, Miss Ellen. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So here is the show where we like to have real raw conversation about what it looks like to build your vision, what it looks like to follow the vision when you may not even know how the vision is going to unfold, how it's going to manifest. But we trust God, right? And so for those of our listeners who do not know you, allow us to take our time to let them know who is Ellen Seaton.
All right. Oh my gosh. I've got to time myself here because I could go on and on, but I'm going to give you the basic. Of course, I was born in the Virgin Islands in the Caribbean islands. Um, I have three sons, grown sons, and I have a catering business. I've been a personal and chef for almost 30 years here in the Virginia Beach area. Also, I'm very involved with ministry. I'm very involved with the community. I do a lot of homeless feed-ins. I do a couple hundred of those feed-ins per week. And that is my passion. I love serving families in need because I myself have been a family who was in need at some point or the other through my journey. So I'm excited to be here. I can tell you a lot of things about me, but I love people. I love to see people grow. I love to share what God has placed inside of me. And I am just excited about being here with you tonight. So anything else you have to ask or say, that's fine.
Yes. I just love your energy. For those of you who may not know, Ellen is no stranger to me. Her and I are in partnership. I have been able to serve and support her on her journey as a best-selling author, might I add. She produced her own book, and she also is the producer of an anthology.
Yes.
And so I am super excited to be in this position to have this conversation because I want to go back. You talked about being a servant in your community with your catering business. How did you even get started into that?
Well, first of all, my mom and my dad were both chefs in the Virgin Islands. I grew up in the kitchen, learning things from my parents. We had several restaurants when I was growing up. So when everyone was enjoying themselves in the summertime playing with the kids, I had to work in my dad's restaurant for free. Okay, back then they don't pay you. So I had to work for free. There was no income making for me. He said, "You're my daughter. You work for me." But I learned most of my things from my parents, and then I came to Virginia Beach, and I went to Johnson um, culinary school right here in Norfolk before they moved to North Carolina. I believe they moved out, but I went to school there. Went ahead and did some things, and I enjoy cooking for people. I truly believe I was created to feed the mind, body, and spirit. God has gifted me that. I enjoy it. So whether I'm paid or not paid, I really enjoy sharing and giving to others, and especially when people eat food, good food, and don't feel good, right?
Right.
So I love it. I've got a great job, to feed people, mind, body, and spirit, hopefully to empower them in anything that they're doing along their journey.
Yeah. So let's talk about what has you found most challenging as an entrepreneur? What has been most challenging for you, and what was the solution?
Well, I've learned so much in 30 years, actually. I've grown. I'm a better person. I'm a better entrepreneur, of course. I've learned along the way. The challenging part for me was balancing everything. Of course, I was a mother when I started out. My kids were smaller, so I still had to be a mother. I worked a full-time job while starting up my business full-time.
Wow.
Um, I worked at Verizon for many years, making a six-figure income. And I just one day woke up because I have been in my spirit. It was just like no more joy in what I was loving to do. I was successful at Verizon, made great money. I couldn't find anything wrong, but the joy was no longer there. And when I
Mm.
finally discovered that God was speaking to me through some confirmation of other people, I said, "Okay, God, I'm going to step out. I don't know what I'm going to do." So I did that. And in the midst of it, I found that, especially when it comes to food business or a restaurant or anything like that, it is a process.
Hmm.
You don't come out the door successful, making a lot of money. There's a
Right.
lot I had to learn. Went to school, of course, I have a business degree, but I went to school to learn the basic of catering, being a chef, things like that. But yet, running a business, that's a whole different ballgame. And as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, self-employment is a whole different thing. I've been trying to get to the business owner part. I think I'm there now because as a self-employed person, you are everything to the business. So the hard part was balance. And now I feel I'm doing pretty good, maybe 90%. I don't think we're ever finally there 100%, but I'm doing so much better. But it's finding balance between being a mother, being the woman that you are, not losing yourself in what you do every day, and still maintaining to grow your business. So I think that was my task for the 20 plus years, and still growing, still learning.
Absolutely. It's one thing that you said that stood out to me in regards to when we talk about, you know, stepping out on faith.
Hmm.
And you were sharing how there's a need and you're feeding people with their mind, body, and spirit. And that really resonated with me because sometimes we feel like we have to have it all together
Hmm.
and we have to know all of the steps.
Yes.
But when you step out on faith and you follow your passion, you follow the vision that God has placed in your heart, which is your
Hmm.
gift, your talent, that comes without any investment. He invested in you. And so
Yes.
when you talked about how you left
Hmm.
corporate making six figures, right? That's a
Yes.
very comfortable
Hmm.
lifestyle.
Hmm.
And so you left comfort and you followed passion. Come on here,
Yes.
somebody. And so
Mm.
I'm sure that was an even scary place. Can you
Yeah.
take me back to that moment where
Yeah.
you decided, you know what? I'm going to follow the vision. I'm going to follow the passion, the gift, the
Yeah.
talent, and I'm going to leave what's comfortable. I'm going to leave what's familiar, and I'm going to step out on faith. For someone listening, they want to do that, but
Yeah.
fear. And
Yes.
so, can you just take us to that experience for yourself and share with us that?
Sure. Well, let me tell you, that was some time, um, when I got started becoming uncomfortable, and I truly believe that God will make comfortable your comfortability become uncomfortable. And it's to get our attention to something else. Because if we have a lifestyle, we're able to buy the things we need, pay our bills, we're comfortable. We don't see any problem. Why leave something that is no problem with, right? And that's what
Mhm.
we mostly say. But there's so much more that God has for you. And what I used to do that really made me, I love to cook so much that I used to bring in, you have to be to work at 8 o'clock. We'll get up at like 5 in the morning, put food in the oven for my kids so that when they came home from school, their dinner was there. And then I would make breakfast sandwiches and lunch and take to my job and bless others.
Mhm.
And they were like, wow,
Wow.
I love to cook. So I started blessing people for several years. And then after a while, people say, Ellen, why don't you cook lunches and bring them in and we'll buy lunch from you instead of going out? Several
Wow.
years, I would take my lunch break at 12, and in 1 hour, I would make almost more money than I made in 3 days. So
Mm.
my boss allowed me to do it because it didn't interfere. Took my hour lunch. Everybody came in, got their food. In fact, they started pre-ordering. So when that's happened, I said, this is going well. Everybody said, Ellen, you should open a restaurant. And I'm like, no, don't want a restaurant. I grew up in it. I know what it requires. I'm
Mhm.
not ready to be a slave to a restaurant. I'm not. So thank God I love the business, but I don't want to own a restaurant. I would rather send a caterer. And they said, you need to do something because you got a gifted hands. So in all of that happened and something happened in my life, and I started thinking, I'm like, wow, I'm at the peak with this job. I used to be one of the top salesperson in Verizon, meaning that we were back in the day when they had ISDN lines, DSL lines, before all these other technology, and we sold those lines, and I made good money. So at the end of the day, my kids had good Christmas, and I'm saying, why am I feeling this way? I went talking to my boss, and he was like, Ellen, what's going on? Because they noticed that my status was shifting. They saw it in me, coming in. I wasn't as, like I was still happy, help people, but I wasn't finding the joy that I had in what I was doing and I was successful in. And I began to pray. And I tell you what, I gave my 2 weeks notice. And when I did that, I had no savings account. My
Mm.
checking account was in the negative. It was about negative $20. And I didn't know how my next month's rent was going to get paid, but I stepped out because the feeling I was having on the side, it was unbearable. Every day I
Mm.
woke up and no satisfaction. I was feeling, like, what am I doing here? What's going on? And
Mm.
that is what I did. And I walked out. Now, the few months after that was a little challenging. I mean, I had to move. I got an eviction notice. I went through a lot of processes, but I would do it over again
Mm.
because of where I am today. So it was a process for me to get there. It was a challenge for many years. A lot of times I'm a giver, so I give away everything. So, people say, Ellen, you're not charging enough for your food. When I was done cooking and doing everything and I count the money, I'm like, what's going on here? But I was such a giver. I did not know how to shift and balance out between being a giver, blessing people, and being a business owner and making sure that you're counting your costs, what is your
Yes,
net
come on,
and
talk
stuff
about
like that.
that.
I
Yes,
didn't
that
didn't
balance.
understand it. I wasn't saying, okay, Ellen, you spent $150 on this food. You need to come out of this at least 450 so that you can pay your bills. I didn't because my heart, I was cooking with my heart
Uh-huh.
and not my head.
Right. Come on.
And so I
Balance.
learned that over the years. It took me a while because I always be like, you gotta bless people. But God had to teach me that also. And once I got the tools from looking at other people, I'm friends with like the owner of MP Caribbean restaurant and also Montego Bay. They're people that I know the owners and just watch different things that they've done over the years. And I say, you know what, God, I gotta get this. So the journey was rough, but that faith walk that I did, not understanding what's the next step. I knew I went and got my business license and everything. I had my certificates, how to get my management certificate, service certificate, but I didn't know. But I stepped out on that blind faith because I said, what I'm doing is not working anymore. So it was beyond the money, the value of a dollar. It
Come
was
on.
more me discovering my purpose. And I think along the way, I discovered my purpose is what I've been doing all along. I just took it to another level.
Absolutely. Oh my God, there's so much that you said, but what stuck out to me was when you started out sharing with us, and one of the things that you shared was your challenges was about balance, right? And okay,
Mhm.
we take that one word, right? It can mean so much in
Yeah.
so many different areas of our lives. When we talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about being a mother, when we talk about being a woman working in corporate
Yes.
America, when we talk about servant hood, right? You're a servant leader at
Mhm.
heart. I can
Mhm.
tell that
Yeah.
by your stature. And so, there's other roles to us. And so when we talk about balance, we have to learn to now make decisions also that will balance our heart work, our
Yeah.
passion work, our purpose, but also being strategic and profitable as well with the gift that God is giving you. So it's about, balancing all of those factors
Yeah.
in. And so I thank you for your transparency and
Mhm.
sharing about the balance and how it can affect us in all different areas of our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
And it's okay when we may feel overwhelmed, or
Yeah.
we just need to step away, step back,
Yeah. Mhm.
take a moment to pause and figure
Yeah.
out what needs to happen in order for this to again be successful, maintain manageable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing. So, how do you respond to setbacks?
Ooh, I don't think I've mastered that one yet, but I have to
Who
always get
has?
in prayer, okay? Because I truly believe, because we are natural beings, that sometimes you're going to start out frustrated. And, when things don't go the way you think it should go, and now you're thinking what time is going to cost. For me, I always try to take a step back, just like you said earlier. I'll sometimes get in my room, turn the TV and everything off, and just lay there. And I talk to myself like a mad woman. Okay, my sons will hear me. Sometimes they will swear I'm talking with someone, and they'll open it. You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But I have to talk it out with God, like in a natural way. Like, hey, this is what happened. What's going on? So what I've learned is I don't jump up trying to fix it right away. I'm a fixer. I'll be like, I gotta fix this. Okay, it's broken. Let me just get the glue. Let me try to do it when it probably is not fixable. I may have to go to plan B. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning that I can't get everything right. Setbacks are going to happen throughout the journey of my life. And they come sometimes to even give you better ideas. Because sometimes I
Yes,
have good ideas, but if something don't get broken in that idea, I would never know that. Wait a minute, if you try this over here, this is even better. It will work
yes,
out fine. And I've done that. And I think now what I do is I'm like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? I had all this planned out, but your plans are better than my plans. So what is it? And
yes.
and from that, now I do seek his face. And people might say it's cliche, but no, for me, seeking his face meaning that I get quiet, I sit
Mm-hmm.
back, and I try to think about all the pieces of a puzzle. And then I go forward. That's how I deal with it.
I love that, because
Yeah.
when we talk about setbacks, the one thing that you mentioned in regards to a setback can also be a teachable moment. It doesn't have to be a setback. It can be a
Correct.
teachable moment. Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
try to hold on to what's familiar, what
Yes.
works, but then you may be outgrowing that
Yes.
person or
Yes.
thing. You may be outgrowing that resource, and you may
Yes.
need something that is more efficient because you're growing, you're expanding. Come on here, you're
Yes. Yes.
evolving. And so we
Mm.
try to hold on and fix it when there's something better.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's so many ways that I could just take
Mm.
that from what you said. And this has been
Yes.
such a great conversation,
Yes.
because again, it brings normalcy to our challenges, to what it is that we experience on the journey in life when we
Yes.
say yes to our assignments.
Yes.
And so I believe that our stories do bring a solution for someone else. It
Mm-hmm.
brings
Mm-hmm.
hope. It brings inspiration. And
Yep.
so thank you for just sharing with us parts of your journey in the marketplace, and how you've been able to continue to serve your community. Like, you
Yeah.
have been diligent.
Yeah.
And so that's why you are one of our honorees at the gala. That is why we are taking out time to celebrate you and your faithfulness
Yeah. Yeah.
and who you are today and
Appreciate it.
becoming. And
Appreciate
so I
it.
thank you for saying yes. And so what can people look forward to from Ellen moving forward? What do you have going on?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm trying to get this memoir done. What I've done is, and I know God sometimes in the setbacks, as you said, we look at it as failure sometimes. You don't get things done and you feel like you're not a woman of your word. But, that's the enemy sometimes try to get us, because I truly believe in every setback, there's something to get out of it. And through that journey, my sons and I, we've had some turmoils going on over the years. My oldest is 43. I've got a 37 and a 30-year-old just made 30. And through this journey of time, our relationships have gotten so much better. I have realized now, and I've told people, some people don't agree, but what I see even going forward is that I was telling someone, I'm learning that as my children, there's certain time in our children's life when you're their mother. They need the mothering. They need your advice. They need all these things,
Yeah.
guidance. But after a certain amount of years, they need us to become more of a good friend. Because if
Mm.
you're not a good friend as an adult, they won't come and talk to you about certain things because they're
Hmm.
looking at judgment. And what God has shown me in building my relationship with my kids is that sometimes they don't want me to give them advice. They want me to be a hearer. They want
Yes.
me to
Come
listen to
on.
them, just listen to them. So I believe I'm growing in those areas even to help other women to understand our positions as we grow with our children, to be able to be a help them so the enemy doesn't use us to be against them. And now we're pushing them away. So going forward, I want to get my memoir done. I also look forward, I wanted to mention how even cooking, I'm not going to be doing a much catering next year, 2025, God's willing. For years I've been deciding on this, but I will continue. I was going to share how my passion now is grown so much because it's genuinely, I've done it for many years with my own money. And I became SWAM certified a couple years ago. I now is a vendor for the government. I feed the
Wow.
homeless. That is now bringing in income for me, doing what I love to do.
Right.
And so even with my catering, I started out, doing it on my job and then going to other companies and asking them, could I set up in their break rooms, to now where I don't do that anymore. I've grown where I have enough thousands of clients that even Thanksgiving just passed, I put out an overwhelming amount of volume of stuff for my customers. So I'm growing now where this year coming, I want to work more at feeding the spirit man. I want to share my stories. I want to share, not that I know it all, but I want people to know that wherever
Yes.
you're coming from, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than we could even ask him. And I'm a living
Yes.
witness. I don't have enough time to tell you, but I'm telling you, going forward, I want to do more of what I'm doing now. I want to be able to connect with other women, and I want to share the love of God with other people, because guess what? That's all people need, is that true love, to know that somebody cares. And if they can see that love, guess what? They can achieve their goals also, and they can have hope in something that they were hopeless in.
Yes. Come on here. That's what it's all about. That's
Yes.
exactly what it's all about. And
Yes.
so, oh, such an honor to speak with you on tonight. It was such
Thank
a
you.
beautiful conversation. And so here's one of the things I want to do before we begin to close out our show.
Okay.
I would love for you to fill in the blanks. There's a
Mhm.
statement that I say.
Okay.
The statement is, I've learned and I'm learning. And you fill in the blanks. I've learned.
I've learned how to have confidence in myself and the gifts that God has given me. And I'm learning that there's no end. It's
Mm,
ongoing. Everything that we're doing in life, it's ongoing. There's not a place to say, oh, this is the end of it. It's ongoing as far as you want to take it. So I'm learning that it doesn't stop here. There's another level, there's another road, there's another path. And you keep going, you'll find that you will evolve in so many things and become a better person that you could even imagine you can be.
yes, come on here, somebody. Listen, if y'all aren't if you're not inspired, okay, I don't know what to tell you. She is just a breath of fresh air. So
Thank
listen, how
you.
can people connect with you, Miss Ellen? How can they connect with you if they want to again do business with you, or if they just want to connect, follow you on social media? What is your
Well,
information?
I am on Instagram. It's Ellen's Catering. I'm sorry, Ellen's Cuisine is on Instagram. And you also can find me on Facebook. I'm getting ready. Actually, my YouTube is already set up. I'm getting ready to go onto YouTube. It will be Ellen's Cuisine, Mind, Body, and Spirit. And we're going to be connecting as I make some videos with food and different things. And of course, my number is 757-214-8944. You can call me, text me, and let me know if there's something I could serve you with. But that's the way you can reach me. Ellen, it's a lot up there, but you'll see me up there. You'll see my food, my Caribbean food. So you'll find Ellen's Cuisine easy.
Love it. Love it. Listen, I am looking forward to seeing you on March
Yes.
the 8th next
Yes.
year, 2025, at our
Yes. Yes.
Influencers on the Rise Brunch and Gala. Listen, this is not just an opportunity for us to celebrate our honorees, but also
Yes.
to celebrate leaders worldwide. You want to be in the space to be recognized and celebrated for the work that you do every day in the community. And we believe in that. So
Yes.
listen, if you need more information about this event, it's taking place in Richmond, Virginia. You can go
Mhm.
to choosetolivesociety.com for all of the information. And I look forward to seeing you there. So listen, Miss Ellen, do me the honors and share some advice, share some encouragement to our listeners, to that woman or that man who wants to leave corporate. God is telling them to go forward, but the fear. What would you speak to them today?
Well, I would just say do it. Just do it because and even if you have that fear, don't think that it's fear is the evidence of saying you're going to fail. It's okay to have some fear because that means we're trusting God for what we don't see or we don't know. Just go out and do it and look at other people who have done it. I looked at a lot of people on social media, celebrities, regular people that I know, and I look at their lives that the stuff you see now, that's not where they started. When we hear some of the stories of some people, we're like, how did they do it? So I would say do it. Find something or someone that inspire you and get a word from them. And let me tell you, it's not impossible. Just do it. If somebody had told me that years ago, it might not have taken me that long. But you know what? God's timing is better than my time. And so I feel like everything was right on time. Just do it. Be encouraged and know that you are more than what you can see with your natural eyes and you can do it. And I want to say this really quickly, Miss Anita, you are wonderful. I'm not saying this because we're here talking, but she has a gift for loving on women. I appreciate you. She's patient with people. She's not a nagger. She's not, I'm telling you, she's gifted and she's good at what she does. So, Anita, thank you so much, Anika, for just working with me. We've got a lot
Thank
more work to
you.
do together, and I'm excited.
Thank you so much. I was not expecting that. I appreciate your kind words.
You're
I know
welcome.
that you are definitely sincere in
Oh,
sharing
yes.
that with me. So I
Hmm.
thank you very much for just allowing me to serve you.
Yes.
And so listen, listeners, I know that you were inspired on tonight.
Yes.
I want to thank you for tuning in with us. Listen, comment below what your thoughts are of today's episode. And we love to hear from you here behind the screen, business confessions with your girl, Anika. So listen, you already know, until next time, I want you to what? Choose to live, choose to be liberated, improve daily,
Yes.
be vivacious and enlightened. Until next time.
Bye.